In this session, we will incorporate the graph in the management information system for graphical representation of the data. So till now, we have created the bar chart in the management information system and the time performance and the cost performance graph. In this video, we will understand how to provide the daily resource requirement graph. Now here we have a graphical data representation in which the daily resource requirement is reflected, making it very convenient to understand the resource requirement. The data we have already calculated in our resource sheet, and here we have made the graphical representation by providing the requirement every week. So you can see that every week there is a number displayed on the graph, making it very clear that whether the resources need to be increased or need to be decreased in the coming time. So let's see how to incorporate this graph in the management information system. Now in the resource sheet we have our daily requirement of the resources. Now this data can be utilized to create this graph. So first of all, we have to create a weekly resource requirement data so that it become easier to understand and to read. So we will rearrange this data on the week wise, keeping 1st Jan as a first day, then 8th Jan, and then again taking the 1 week, 15th Jan, and so on. Now we will create a new table in which the resources will be tabulated in the week wise. So there will be 4 rows. One is the date, one is the labor, one is the material, and one is the machine. And then we will take first date as a 1st January, and then we will add 7 days to 1st January and so on to get the week wise date. Then we will drag it to get the rest of the date. Now we will use the HLOOKUP command to get the data for each weekday for each category of the resource. So we will use HLOOKUP command to get the data for labor. So the lookup value will be the date. The lookup table will be the entire table of the resource requirement. So we'll select the entire table and we'll freeze it with the $sign. And then for labor there will be a column row index number 2, for material it will be 3, and for machine it will be 4. And once we provide this formula to 1st Jan for each of the category of the material, then we can drag it and get the entire table filled with the required data. So once we drag it, we will get the data for the entire labor. Now we will drag it downward, change the row index number, and we'll get the data for material, and similarly for the machine. We'll change the column index number for material 3 and for machine 4, and then we will drag it horizontally, and hence we get the data for each of the date. We will now remove the decimal so that we get the value in the integer form. Now our table is ready, and now we can insert the graph. Now select the data and then go to the insert and then select the graph. In all chart type, go to the line type of graph and select the line type graph with the values. So once we select it, our graph will be prepared. Now we have to just do few formatting so that we can make it more readable. By changing the chart layout, we will first enable the data labels and will change the title of the chart to daily resource requirement. Now we will paste the chart on the main management information sheet and we will adjust its location. Now the two more formatting, that is balance. One is the background color of the chart, that we will make it to gray, and the second one is the data labels which is there. We will provide them box and fill it with the color. Now fill the graph background with the gray color. Now we will select the data label, will increase its size and will make the few format changes in each of the data label. So we'll make it bold. We will fill it with the contrast color. Similarly, we will change the other data label by increasing its font size and changing its font color with the contrast color. Once we make the changes in the font, then we will fill it with the color so that our data become more easy to read. So we will select the suitable color for each of the data label, for each of the line, and we'll fill it with the light color. Now making this change will allow us to read the data and interpret the data more easily. And once both the formatting of font and data box color filling is been done, then our graph is ready. And in this way we have incorporated the daily resource requirement graph on the main sheet. The graph provides a very powerful way to represent and interpret the data. So even in next MIS session, we will incorporate few more graph, resource planned versus utilized, and the budgeted cost versus actual. So this will also help us to prepare a MIS and will also make us understand that how to use the graphs in Excel. So now this MIS sheet is becoming more powerful with more data representation in graphical form, and the best thing is that all the data that we have used is dynamic. That is, only DPR is to be updated and rest all data will update accordingly. So in this way the graphs provides a very powerful mean of data representation, which we will further understand in the next session of Advanced Excel.